Aid Cooper, representing Bedfordshire. This is called When the Words Work. At an open mic event, loving what I'm hearing. Then, my turn. I bite back the nerves. I'm under the lights, and my words, they sing. The right poems, the right place, the right time. On the phone to a client, they're scared, desperate, alone. Demons are hounding them. What can I say to help? I reach deep inside, find words to soothe, to calm. The right words, the right person, the right time. June 2020, at the crematorium, saying farewell to my dad. I stand at the lectern to give the eulogy. No notes, nothing prepared. I reach inside, find what I need to say goodbye. The right words, the right place, the last time.
Dickinson, Berkshire. See the battered boot of Royal Berkshire, sole grounded on Hampshire's northern edge, heel braced against Wiltshire to the west, navicular bone pinned by Oxfordshire below the point of a high-stepping shoe. Windsor Castle capped the toe where bucks raced ahead, blocked their roads to London. In the instep sits Newbury, land of my fathers, bones in the churchyard, rites of passage at St Nicholas Church, a short walk east to the wharf of the River Kennet, regular route to ENT, bus ride to Reading, where I tie laces on my county map. Wherever Dad worked, strangers in a playground surrounded us. "Who are? You speak funny. You calls pumps, plimsolls. Where you from?" No glib answer for me, born in Kensington, mother in Essex, father in Aberdeen, brother and sister in Berkshire, the last in Warwickshire, when the eldest left. My children are all Lincolnshire bred, called yellow bellies by the locals. It's home. The landscape of my childhood is Berkshire. The greens, the browns, its ups and downs, affectionate nicknames, allowances made. I treasure the romance of our lost youth, the comfort in the ease of a worn boot, the way leather crinkles to mould the foot. No need of a sock to stifle sounds or words. On a nostalgic trip, I track old paths, with my older sister holding hands to school, Speenhamland, our primary and father's too, famed in history books for poor relief. Our class crossing the London Road in pairs for Northcroft Park, the outdoor pool to learn to swim in all weathers. My parents met here where I shivered, dived on summer nights, dipped under lightning, braved the storms. Their gang biked miles, kept secrets on the streets. Certificates under the belt, they joined up, swapped sixth form caps for the Air Force hat. Those kids were adults overnight, couldn't stay, returned to wed on a wartime weekend pass, settled for a while to set up our home. Newbury, notable staging post, the soul of the royal boot of Berkshire.
Anna Somerset, representing Buckinghamshire.
Blighted Bucks. I drink Bucks Fizz. Should be 2/3 Champers and 1/3 clementine juice. Not the German supermarket Prosecco and concentrated orange juice that poets can blow out on. This is more gin and Jack's country, or sex on the beach. In the days when Babysham's ubiquity died. This brew first fizzed in London's Bucks Club, catnip for Woodhouse, to inspire his drones. Percy Jeeves, his dream butler's name, stolen from a Yorkshire Adonis and fast bowler, blighted promise felled in the swarm of the Somme. With politicians once again talking war, I toast peace and try and squeeze the sun from the greyest spring. Eurovision winning effervescence, or the corn in Carolina from the land of make-believe. My country, Blighty, bastardised Urlu Viliati, Whitey, one of those helmeted pith takers with spurs and a whip, also slang for those too fractured for the great wars, shipped back to sanatoria in Sidcup and Slough. Those with broken faces had to wear metal masks. The Buckinghamshire I thought I knew was rural. Sheep driven down our road once, upper bottom and lower bottom fans, we grew prize-winning marrows. So quaint, it stood in for wartime Warminster-on-Sea in Dad's Army the movie. But the vermin just needed some bait. My sister's teenage advertisement in the post office window gave rise to a very posh pimp. His market, bikini models for exiled Iraqi oil barons, a photo album of yachts provided and lovely sunny holidays proposed. He was foiled like the bad guys in books. The dodgy uncles drawn up by Beaconsfield, Enid Blyton, by our greenness and fear of what mother might think. Amersham, on the quiet, National Centre, processing radium, radon and artificial radioactive substances, privatised and sold off cheap in the 80s. Paradise Lost. In the days when Milton was not famous as a sterilising fluid, the plague was rampant in London. Satan and his rebel angels imagined in my village, Chalfont St Giles. A wet weekend in Chalfont St Giles. Woodhouse describing Bertie Wooster's face when he was very glum indeed.
Peterborough's got soul. I'm from a city that's over 900 years old, born and bred to the sound of grumbling tractors and the rotary sound of pissed-up combine harvesters. Peterborough's got soul. In the 50s, the Windward generation came with their zoot suits and caballeros, swaggered on Tilbury docks, past the circle crops with their blue beat and calypso, feeling hot, 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 hot. Peterborough's got soul. Back in the 60s, Speed City had more colours of drugs than there were races. Blues hot is purple hot entered the city from American bases. The sound of young America only had one place to go. Motown. Peterborough's got soul. Martha Reeves and the Bandoliers was calling all around the world for a brand new beat as all the actors in Peterborough were dancing in the streets. Trouble with Motown, It's the same old song. So Edwin Starr came to the city, sending out a SOS, talking about our generation. Who thought they had got it wrong? But then came Northern, and they got those kicks out on the floor all night long. Brummy trousers, checkered braces, going to a go-go at northern places. Time would pass them by with tainted love faces. Tout powder, shining blankets, kept the faith on dance floors. This was the home of East Anglian soul. Peterborough's got soul. Do I love you? Yes, I do. New Jack Swing in the 80s meant the Peterborough effect grew with jazz, funk and disco. Swaggering onto dance floor with the swankiest gear. The city had prestige dancers, the biggest posers. Everyone went to Disco Oasis to make our city go. Rolls Royce and Light the World all came because Peterborough's got soul. The funky and the jazzers all went to Slickers on a Sunday night pilgrimage. Deaf to all light dancers if you didn't have the right gear. We all found loving while dancing out of the atmosphere. The cool notes, the shaky nuts came again and again and again. At Cantor's was the place to be where the boys paid £1 and the girls got for free. Peterborough's got soul. In the meantime, Saxon, yeah man, sound system blew the house down, grinding away to nightness. Suited all the lovers on the rock, winding up your bodies, feeling airy. Hip hop, don't stop was the next musical in Richmond. So the MASTERG with a double E. My name is Master G. I say, a scoop wop do. Guess what? Peter, we love you. So all the ladies, Mercedes, get ready tonight. As Jeff B. Daniels moonwalked into the city to make a night to remember what Earth, Wind and Fire asked all the farmers. Do you remember what it was like in September? It went from Speed City to Poppin', Locking, Breaking City. With Boris and Alfie always on the door, it was a melting pot on all the dance floor. We searched for love before, for a love that we couldn't find. We searched day in and day out for love that was mine or grime. And on that dance floor, we played around with love before, and we waited to Saturday night was shining on my Sunday morning face, because I found loving soul to soul, kept people moving back to life, back to reality. In the noughties, Peterborough was still a great place to be if you love R&B. We became fast starters with Katie from Prodigy. Shades of Rhythms increased our musicality. Down at London Road, the home of PUFC, Ivan, Tony, the boys, Jones and 11, is Trevor Quo. They gave the posh soul, and goals. Now everyone takes mobile scooters and Zimmer frames to the S&M reunion parties. All the icons have become Afro grey and old, but Peterborough still got it. Peterborough's got the house of soul.
I compose myself and click on the light. Inhale, slowly and with purpose. Pashmina wrapped shoulders, elbows cinched to hold in place the moment. Held, cupped in the hot hinge, folded away into that cloth pinch. I am alone in this room, but I will not huddle. I am tearless now, and striding outwards.
My name is Georgie Harris. I'm here to represent Cornwall. Croftland. There's a feeling I might be related to a famous poet. My father thinks that's a great possibility. Those remaining truths in an afterglow on Cornish soil set in lucid views, transversing the place and states of growing up in an element and a brief but now extended break. Weather conditions in and to and fro position. Quiet please, the reports are coming again, blowing through the whistling masts. Paths and rattle in the gamelan chant. Beeble, bramble, gorse, brook, over again, over again. 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 Lower, middle and top-field dens, formal gardens and croftland swamp, ghost of Perry, Blairy, Blairy, Mary, Mary, memory dance.
Cumberland Gap. Some random thoughts on my family heritage. My grandmother on my mother's side was a Green. They came originally from Whitehaven, up the coast a ways from my hometown of Barrow in Furness. My mother told me once that a great something or other grandfather on that side had been the captain of a grand sailing ship that put out from that great seaport town, in its heyday a part of the Atlantic trading triangle back in the 1800s. There were coal mines and hematites back then in the day, all grist for that long haul across the oceans, around the horned tip of the land of fire and myth. But returning with what cargo? My mother never got round to expanding on the details, except for some romantic anecdote, how he had married a Peruvian princess, a high-born lady of some nobility for sure, and I can somehow see a hint of the exotic in the now fading sepia-tinged prints of my mother's youthful spring as the local carnival queen, just sweet 17, but with a regal and serenely innocent gaze into the camera's glass eye that fixes the past with the vitreous frieze of posterity. But of course, there is a tragic backdrop to all this romanticizing, leaving an invisible black edge of sadness, both going down with their foundering ship, as she, the captain's wife, accompanied him, joining the list of tragic heroines of accidents at sea, amidst listed and unlisted inexplicable shipwrecks, leaving me with this flimsy personal connection with that literary fixture of doom-laden lovers with lives entwined in the contingent twists of grievous fates. And we all have our own backstories, black sheep of the family, and I would love to plumb the depths of my roots, explore the hidden rings of my family tree, to trace the lines of my origins. But all I can do as of this moment in time, is note the empty space in my self-awareness, where I came from. Let's just call it the Cumberland Gap.
Simon Glenn, Derbyshire. From these wild heights, where oft the mist descends in rains that shroud the sun and chill the gale, each transient gleaming interval we hail and rove the naked valleys and extend our gaze around where yon vast mountains blend with billowy clouds that o'er their summits sail, pondering how little nature's charms befriend the barren scene, monotonous and pale, yet solemn when the darkening shadows fleet successive o'er the wide and silent hills, gilded by watery sunbeams. Then we meet peculiar pomp of vision. Fancy thrills and owns there is no scene so rude and bare, but nature sheds all grace, all grandeur there.
Hello there, my name's Robert Garnham and I'm representing Devon, which is where this is coming from. And this poem is all about, it's about Brixham in Devon, where my mother lives. It's called All Night Humming from the Ice Factory. At night, I dream of the ice factory, manufacturing glittered frost under corrugated iron. Snow on cue, sleet on demand. I dream as it chills the night for me and glaciers the dawn. 3 a.m, in sweated sheets flung aside, windows open and not a breath of air. There's a humming noise coming from the quay. What could that purring possibly be? I'd like a snowdrift, please, and ice so fine you can see right through it. I want to see my breath in the trawler lights. The sweat is rolling down my face, and the hum, that's just adding to the intensity of it, and a throb of engines too. The sweat is rolling down my face. Don't tease me, freeze me. Be my ice queen. Get me through this night. At night, I dream of the ice factory, an ice conveyor belt, and iced up workers hauling ice and shoveling ice and moaning about the cold, snow on cue, sleet on demand, blizzarding the morning as the sun rises over the trawler basin, and I moan and sweat as the clock strikes 3.
Dorset. Dorset, 200 million years in the making. Dorset is built on chalk, limestone, sandstone, blue lias, corallian rocks and Kimmeridge clay. Dorset is built on the bones of long dead creatures, Triassic, Jurassic and Cretaceous. Dorset is built on prehistory and history, astronomy and science, teaching and learning, invention and farming, scripture, literature, arts and humanity, music and sport. Dorset is built on giants and kings, revolutions and swings, cottages and castles, grockles and fossils, assizes and martyrs, festivals and charters. Dorset is built on janitors and engineers, the oilers of the gears, clerks and the sparks, clippers and preeners, traders and in-betweeners, the drivers, the walkers, the helpline talkers, the flunkies, the grease monkeys, the runners, the grippers, schedule cullers, focus pullers, repairers and carers, planners and inspectors, fault on the line detectors, furniture removers, the person that hoovers, beehivers and white van drivers. Dorset is built on artists and writers, poets and lamplighters, dancers and singers, new life bringers, scene makers and joiners, night-time toilers, bookkeepers and bean counters, problem surmounters. Dorset is built on born heres and blow-ins, movers and shakers, traders and makers, dreamers and schemers, showmen and travellers, sinners and saints, refugees and migrants, the displaced, the misplaced, the lost and the found. Dorset is built on people. We gave you Wordle, our word for world. We are Dorset. You are Dorset.
Persistence. Jack Carraddock, County Durham. See them gather in prides around the edges of the lawn, their green broadswords drawn. Their seed cubs scatter at breezes, find a cradle in any hint of soil, in any cracked pavement. Their proud parents bleed milk. Their hollow stems hold the secret of how to resurrect at speed. Golden manes like drops of paint daubing the grass. The art of persistent slumber, rising always in unvanquishable number.
Hello, my name is Becky Hu, and I was born in the county of Essex. I was 12 years old when I learned I am a joke. A simple form-filling exercise became the occasion for much mirth as my classmates explained that my gender plus place of birth equals a source of great hilarity for those who find humour in vulgarity. I am an Essex girl. My prudish preteen self hadn't a clue. A place I can't remember and haven't set foot in since I was 2 earned me a label I couldn't live up to if I tried. Okay, I'm blonde-ish. But this hair's never been dyed. I was a straight A-star student back then, for what it's worth. For sure, I've never worn fake tan or a miniskirt, and no, I can't do the voice. You already got me there. I was, 6 years old when I learned phonetics is just not fair. We all agree the cat sat on the mat, but it seems grass must rhyme with farce if it is to be considered sufficiently upper class for my new southern classmates. My vowel sounds are grounded. In a few short years lived up north, so I rejected received pronunciation and found the West Country drawl too strange. And no number of Bristol raised eyebrows were ever going to make me want to change. Queen's English to hell, just learn to flipping spell. I had the dictionary on my side, I voiced my difference with pride, and sometimes still do, though no one is going to care now I've left England behind to make a home elsewhere. And as an adult, I've learned British people only drink tea. At least, that's what my French colleagues so often tell me as I head to the staff room coffee machine, driven by fatigue and desperation. Apparently, in so doing, I am betraying my nation. And now I've 2 lands to uphold, by my choice of hot drink. At this many years old, I'm learning some folk think this makes me a second-class citizen. 2 passports are worth less than 1. They care only where you're born or where your parents come from. Blame the problems on the migrants. Discrimination is their solution. Never mind that priorité nationale goes against the French Constitution. See, I know this. I signed up of my own free will for liberté, égalité, fraternité, and I believe it still. Though the nationalists cite it with pride, they seem to have forgotten its sense. How can we really decide who amongst us is really more French? We have no right to be proud of our origins or place of birth, as that cannot be to any degree a measure of what we're worth. We can only be judged by ourselves or others on what we do or how we act. Above all, how we treat others as people, not lines on a map. So I can be born an Essex girl and talk like a northern lass. I'll tear apart your clichés and mess with your guesswork on class. I'm the coffee-drinking binational who sometimes chooses tea. No one has anything at all to lose in letting me be me.
Hello, my name is Halima Malik and I live and I'm representing Gloucester and Gloucestershire today with my poem called This Is My Time. This is my time to stand upon a stage and tap dance to the rhythms that are beating in my head. Not to be scared to share my views and choose my path for myself. Time to let the world see the aura above me, the aura behind me, the aura in front of me. To sparkle and sprinkle the glitter around all those near and away from me. To leave my warmth and perfume amongst those that are my friends and those that are strangers. Time to leave a legacy behind for my offspring, for my family, for my friends. It's time to shine. It's time to sparkle. It's time to shimmer. It's time to speak. Thank you.
Why is it all the poets write of sunsets red, of crimson sheets so streaked, bright, burnished, bled, while I, the perfect pinks and purples threaded through a lilac sky, let lie restful in my heart and fall soft upon my eye? Why is it all the scribes will muse at autumn's fall, of blazon marbled fire's deep dappled thrall, while I, the stir of spring's soft song that shows the snowdrop's dainty white, rejoices as my soul is smoothed by the satin light.
Emma Clousley, representing Herefordshire. She's grown roots, but this vase is too small to hold, so sit back, watch this process unfold. She is beautiful, strong like a tree, and the bark is her skin, and the inside is me. Roots can be powerful, breaking through concrete that's pasted over them, stifling them, leaving them breathless. They break through and cause the earth to move. She doesn't know what else she can do. She doesn't know the ripples she'll trigger, because women are watching and she's cutting a figure. Above the surface, a shimmering rose is smothered by leaves as they grow and they grow, taking up space and time laced with prickles. Her petals are soft, but she only feels tickles. She wants to be knowledgeable and strong like a tree, and she doesn't believe that a flower can be. She sees no potential. She thinks she is weak, but her roots are her power, and they cannot speak. You can cut off her petals and even the leaves, but those roots are growing strong underneath. She is firm. She is glorious. She won't be disgraced, and another wild flower will grow in its place.
Amanda Ralph, representing Hertfordshire. Invisible. How can it be that they can't see the new me, all bright and shiny like a new pin? What do I need to do to win them over? Don't suppose they're bothered. Too much effort. Easier to ride on the waves of the past, bringing to shore detritus that doesn't deserve to be dragged up anymore. So stubborn are the memories of yesteryear, no one has noticed the change of gear. Not just because I'm queer, but my invigorated art career. Treading water until the time is right to poke my head and everything else above the parapet. My time is coming, it's just around the corner. Let's hope I don't look back. No need to fill in the cracks or step over them. Walk tall, head held high. Maybe it's time to say goodbye to the non-believers who think I'm an underachiever, who don't believe in her. Believe me, she won't need their approval after the removal of everything that has been holding her back. Those who don't have her back will see just that.
Night of full of his life. Packed with disease and one ship will ease the pain of moving under swamp duvet. I heave through dust, letting my eyes sink with a mossy load. Next is heavy fight, and a spine that could against the night roll. Broken nerves, light by dark night. Streams lie on wetlands, golden with decay, like split open before they fade. You can watch them drag.
Lindsay Oliver, representing Kent, with escape plans. I'm planning my escape through a hole in the sky. I'm watching it grow like the crack in my wall. You can come with me if you know how to fly. I'll leave at night, all in black, like a ninja or spy. I'll climb onto the roof, even though I'm afraid I might fall, 'cause I plan to escape through a hole in the sky. We need to leave soon. I can't tell you why, but we can't stay in my room. We can't stay in the hall. You must come with me. I'll teach you to fly. The ones who watch are too dangerous to defy. I want to be rescued, but don't know who to call. So I planned our escape through a hole in the sky. The watchers have started to patch up the sky. There's only one hole left, and it's getting quite small. Come with me now. You'll find it easy to fly. When you tell me we're safe, I know that's a lie. We have to leave now. There's no time left to stall. We're going to escape through a hole in the sky. I'll carry you with me. I know how to fly.
Andian, Lancashire.
This is a poem called Manchester Made Me. This city is alive on the most unexpected places. I'm stepping off at Piccadilly train station and the rain rustling over your hair, forcing you to look at the constant protests about the tragedies in Israel and Palestine, and never forget the butchering at Peterloo. Never forget the Wally Range pub when 18, getting flattened during a United City fight, and then the IRA bomb in 1996, followed by the riots in 2011, ripping out the heart of a city into something you barely recognise now. Manchester Arndale, haunted by staff dying on service in shops and warehouses, a hurricane shaking the office when you worked at the cooperative, with billboards blowing into people's cars and dragging the dead body back underneath the car park. This city breathes in a square root of loneliness, glancing backwards to forge ahead, a world within a world of its history and future. From Piccadilly to Victoria, then Deansgate, the past etched in myth, mystery, and the truth, its heart bound in its most tragic stories.
Hello, my name is Aaron Isaac and I am representing Leicester. This poem is called The fish. The fish made its way somehow to the shore, slow and steady, breath by steady breath, and crawled like Andy Dufresne over the mud and broken stone. And the bird, before it was a bird, grounded as a stone, looked upwards first, and then saw the view from above, and flapped its non-existent wings into flight. The child cries and reaches for the food it knows will make it grow, climbing Maslow's pyramid with nothing but its helpless hands. The spawn clods together, sharing the little heat it has, with brothers and sisters unnumbered, knowing somehow it will not survive alone. Every single ancestor you lived through was gulped and choked and flapped and clodded just to see. Bobbed its head above the water just to see. Cried and squawked and squealed and forced with pure imagination clothes of colours unimaginable just to see. As Levinas says, we breathe for the sake of breathing. We take a walk for the walk. All that's not for the sake of living. It is living. Now go and crawl a little further. Spread your wings a little wider. Take a few more deep and plentiful breaths and live like the fish, as though you're already standing on your own 2 feet.
Amy Garrett, Lincolnshire. This fertile land is caught up, unknowing with our human commands, uncaring and selfish greedy demands, collection for the rights to earth, of suits performing a profitable rebirth, and ties paying the worst price, haven't had thoughts to consider to watch the pain of rolling the dice, the cries of hands marking prayers, of slicing bindings round mothers into flesh they've already created, so innocent and usually premeditated. This unknowing, uncaring collection of suits and ties haven't had to watch the cries of slicing into flesh so innocent. Fertile land is caught up with our human commands and selfish greedy demands for the rights to earth, performing a profitable rebirth, paying the worst price. Thoughts to consider the pain of rolling the dice, of hands marking prayers, bindings round mothers they've already created, and usually premeditated.
So my name is Courtney Ward and I am representing Middlesex, and I have a poem today called Burnout, and it's about autistic burnout. I don't know how I got here. I don't know how I got through this hour without passing out. I don't know how I'm making it day by day, as I feel like I'm constantly zoned out. I am not me. I am not in my body. My body is constantly crying out the tears that my eyes cannot express. My mind is exhausted by all the work it's gone through to try and suppress the truth. Yes, I am in burnout. All I can do is sleep and sleep and sleep for 12 hours straight, multiple times a week, and not communicate as it's too painful to endure. Noises so at large that I cannot take it anymore, and touch, that is another story. So before you start judging me for not showing up, I'm tired. I'm exhausted. It feels like part of me is dead inside. I cannot keep up the expectation that I shouldn't even be holding in the first place. I don't even know what day it is anymore. All I know is that I need this to give me a break. I do not recognise this girl, or that girl, or that girl. I do not recognise myself.
Here, by Rianne Brooke, Norfolk. Here is peace. It draws me in. Every morning, stumbling, sleep-clustered eyes filter reality through dream state, shaking etch-a-sketch mind clear, I find myself here, alone, silent, content. Menthol vape burns a liquid hole in stagnant coffee tongue, toes crimp and curl on concrete floor, an iceberg thinly veiled by lino and grit. Condensation decades old, trapped between makeshift double glazing, blurs the view just enough to make it beautiful. I shiver at the sight. This place, here, always here, only here, brings clarity, a consommé of thought. Wooden chairs creak under the heavy burden of stories never told, splintered, solid, proud yet humble. I wonder why people aren't more like chairs. Possibly the pressure. We are weak after all, and forgetful. I rest my elbows on a dining table too big for the room. Downsizing has made it feel powerful. I wink at a sparrow pecking clover. I know you, I whisper. You don't, it replies. Ignorance blushes my cheeks and I avert my gaze, embarrassed. I'm far too brazen for this sparrow. His pecks become tuts. I know nothing.
Northamptonshire's DNA. Flowing life of Neen or Nen, beautiful secret sceneries, and then the Grand Union Canal, reservoirs, kites, walks and woods, orchard cottages, our countryside, our hood. From Brampton Vale Way to Daventry, buses, railways, motorways, roadworks to get across. Road mender needed for the county of potholes makes our families and Queen Eleanor cross. Excitement, sightseeing and cobblers accompany us on our journey. Found many loves as we drove, serviced by Annabel, Helen and Bernie. Saints and steelbacks, parks and sports tracks, football, rugby, cricket, who's scoring? All served with cake, blades and Silverstone roaring. Jay's Northamptonshire sauce, pubs, grub, hops, beer and wine, poets, music, theatre, picturedrome, friends, companionship, mine. From Saxon towers, churches to warehouses, spires and squires to guitars. Those Brackley Morris men are dancing again, such history and creativity, ours. Heritage winds through our landlocked world of diversity. Shoes and lasts, trades and crafts, learning in Northampton's University. Overlooked and underrated, berated and celebrated anyhow. A birthplace, human race, shared space, happiness embrace. My home now.
Hello, my name is Pippa Little, I'm from Northumberland, and this poem is called Sea Coaling. Sea Coaling. A January man scrapes the sea for coal, hauls it from its froth still shining, soft necklaces of jet, strands of a gypsy woman's hair scribbled across the shallows. Shirtless, smoking, he lugs bucket after bucket the long stagger to the dunes, and his bored mare, strapped to her cart, grinds seagrass down between her bone-yellow gums. An easterly rips in across his shoulder blades, so his flesh, wishy-washy around a florid heart and indigo anchor, cringes. Like teeth marks, the coal bits mottle his forearms and chest to a samurai armour or step-toe overcoat. More and more now, he thinks he hears them from the undersea shaft, long unworked, their tappings and callings. No fathers or grandfathers of his. Poor leavings, these, that keep a needy fire alive.
go back where you came from. You were born at Billinge. You, your father, grandfather. I was born in the green embrace of Robin Hood. My father in the equatorial colony of Uganda. My grandfather in pre-Gandhi British Raj. Your first word, bell, at the halfway house on the 628. My first words, oh no, when naughty, dusty cousins aimed jigsaw pieces at lizards in the cracks in their walls. Your first steps, damp reses yanking your reins. Mine, on the sharp shingled shore of the Channel. I've lived in 7 English towns, in 13 houses. My family is strewn across the globe like marbles. I have foxtrotted through every county bar Rutland. I have dabbled with a dozen languages. You go to Blackpool for your summer holes, again. I ask you where you're from. You name an estate. You ask me. You expect to hear my whole heritage, proof that we are chalk and cheese, ground and stars. I was born here, and so were you. But my here is abundant enough to cocoon your here. I metamorphose your malice. You start as a voice in the dark, a shout from a car. You confident and in numbers, me vulnerable and without a witness. You will emerge as a champion for your people. One day, you will embrace my diversity as part of the here in your Asbode streets. And we will both be the chalk, both the cheese, both of us ground, and most of all, both stars.
Freddie Barker, representing Oxfordshire with love. My love for you is not a meadow nor a mountain, an ocean or a garden in full bloom. It's not a sunset, but rather when the sun sets to roast oil-slicked puddles in the middle of the road. My love for you's a motorway, it flows, cruise control, not through my veins as crimson blood, but through my nerves as fibre-optic neon signs, lightning bolts, sparks from severed axons, snapped and set out to collapse every synapse. My whole system will elapse in the absence of your reflection. My love's electric, eccentric, eclectic, never pretentious. It's the fuel, not the fire, not glowing but fluorescent, effervescent. Like carbonated spirals in the bottom of my glass, but unlike bubbles or empty calories, these feelings are built to last. And the telephone lines in my mind intersect overhead, the mixed feelings and complications are what spark and connect. It's not artificial, but progressive, high-tech, not high-maintenance, inspired, not codependent, chemical, long-haul, intensive. Fairy lights on city streets every day, not just for Christmas. My love for you glistens, not only in the moon and stars, but airport runway markers, high voltage, automatic, and while I'm at it, radioactive, not like toxic fumes or looming hazards, but haphazard hands in the air, dancing to our favourite band on a luminous sequin stage. My love for you is loud, but never noisy, versatile and to be toyed with, modern art, room for improvement, more baroque than the entire movement. My love is music. So take my hand, grab that cable, and let's do this.
My name is Leonard Lund, and I am representing today for Rutland County with John Greening's poem titled Rutland. We all live in Rutland, not only those who teach at Ocamp School or those who think a day's cycling around the water is an escape. We all live there, all know the peninsula where a church has survived the rise of nature. Know the friendly face of the TV gardener whose paradise runs down to the blue-green shore. And all of us will make the mistake of believing we are not in Rutland, but at leisure to peck the ozone of our desires and never spot it. For Rutland does not exist any more than the greenhouse effect or gardener's world. Although she can make a flat screen blossom, can save Hambleton Church.
But Jeff Hamilton died on a mountain bike in her prime. And these are the very marks left by that dog attacking me as I burst one spring from her wired-off bridleway. I should have kept to the official route. Rutting, twitching, we all live in Rutland.
The next time I'm going to move to the middle of the map. Smack bang central, contourless, a place that's easy on the thighs. Not this harbour in the hill that cemented its own place in time with its own limestone mortar. Now, Shropshire's off the nation's radar, and much Wenlock is on the fuzzy circumference of the bleakless screens, so even a short circular walk is at least a 2-map stroll. And I'm opening maps, I'm fighting with stringless kites, I'm playing these flimsy concertinas in the wind on Windmill Hill. Unfolding rectangles of runes and surveyed symbols, a dismantled railway line, a disused quarry, a dissolved priory. It's a place well dissed through history. And look, and the history creeps back like the magic circle of October mushrooms, returning St Milburger's Priory to its pagan past. The measured row of Canadian redwoods on Linden Field, only in their spruced up teenage years, but outlasting the railway line besides, that's returned to its steamless, sleepless Sleepy Hollow. Hear the echo of the last train, the last blast on the Acme Thunderer, the leather-belted slam of the end carriage on the final train. Listen to the sound of the crowd at the first Olympian Games, caught in the grooves of this redwood tree. Run your fingers down the bark like a needle on a record. Decipher the captured flash of the limelight on Dr. Brooks, caught inverted on the camera's Victorian glass. His picture, trapped, dressed, solid and captured in silver. Did his button-down image want to pour watery scorn on the returning Olympian flame? Did he pray for a squelching, quelching thunderstorm? Was the bough that twisted from the black pine in the churchyard the same week just him wrestling in his grave? But here's to the unphotographed faces, those undeveloped details, the hewers of the landscape, the knitters of the families, the limestone cowboys, the builders of the ruins, who are behind the symbols and the charted runes in the 4 quadrants of my map. So here I am on Wenlock Edge, filming lines of poetry, just one small verse for mankind, but a major leap for me.
Fallers. A sticky swoon of wasps satiated on autumn's juices explores the hollowed-out chambers of an apple. Sweet smell of cider rises from mulched orchards beneath our boots. Leaves swirl and crumble. Sunset shades, gold, vermilion, crimson. The wasps have lost their bearings. Tired and woozy with no sunshine to warm their wings, they crouch until they too grow cold on summer's indifference. When evening comes, we'll pluck the fallers from our paths, stuffed into pockets, to stew with blackberries and sugar to make jam. Months later at our table, we'll remember it all, the low, lazy hum of the wasps, and how everything died so beautifully, so precisely in its time. We'll sip their tender juices and be thankful.
Jason Conway, Staffordshire. Of lime and lines. Rise now, and go to where rail and canal once ran, as rich veins of this town. Start at Lyme Valley Park, where Lyme Brook still flows. Born of ancient River Trent, its waters like the industry that rushed timeless minerals to build community homes. Take a detour to Station Walks, nod to the ghost of Brampton Halt, stamp your ticket at the tunnel, where echoes line grass banks. No tracks, just a gravel path. Meander down past Maybank, to Pool Dam's lime-lined pitches. Meet the brook as it narrows, like the fading legacy of brick, tile, and limestone. Stop in Nutton to pay respect, as railbones rust and sleepers sink to dream below ground, as relics mark the lifelines that fed Eightdale, Castle, Stoke, and country, with coal, coke, and iron, preserved in online archives, but shuttled by a castle lad, too late for the days of soot and sweat. Feel these lost vibrations that stoke a drifting headscape each time the lime calls. Feet and eyes to trace history, and heart to be its engine. Give thanks to the honest folk that built this working town, and be flooded and proud.
Suffolk. Memories. New home, new country, new town, new TV. Channels in English, not German. Doctor Who, President Kennedy, dead. New school, new bullies, new teachers, new friends. Suffolk memories. Beautiful and lush trees and meadows and the river and St. Gregory's. Simon of Sudbury's skull within, awaiting the rest of him, executed in 1381, his body resting in Canterbury Cathedral. Tennis at the tennis club, hockey at the hockey club, English spoken everywhere, shops to walk to, will learn to drive, coffee bars, market town, mini skirts and new white boots, Courage cheats, going to pubs underage, apply to college, sorting mail at Christmas, hotel cleaning, washing up, banding roses after budders, driving lessons passed at last, off to college, Sudbury to Liverpool, Phys Ed and Joan Baez, RAF retiree sells up, and so from Suffolk back to Kent we go.
My name is Harry Rogers. I was born in the Bridge Hotel in Wellesley Road, West Croydon, Surrey in 1947. And this is my poem, Stop. Every number is a person. Every person counts for something. Streets of buildings come, buildings fall. In greater schemes, buildings mean fuck all. Humans buried beneath rubble creates real traumatic trouble, especially those innocents now being bombed inside their tents. One or millions horrify. All barbarism makes me cry. Now we're inside election race. Main candidates avoid this space. Keep their campaigns mainly local. Keep away from multifocal. Say nothing of those blown to bits inside safe zones by lunatics. Those Tory Labour little shits know that they are all complicit. Keep death factories churning out tools of murder. I want to Shout! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop killing kids who can't escape! Stop filling up our world with hate! I know they won't listen to me, an old man reading poetry, but write I must. I'm filled with pain. I'll not vote for them again.
Pratibha Castle, West Sussex. How can you miss what you've never known? You follow signs across the downs, a bush ablaze with bloodberries from a child's pricked hands, acorns in jester bonnets, incense of trampled time, Adonis blues flickering Morse, a linnet silenced. A badger's corpse, life having quit on dawn-mist paws, flops by the root-knuckled track in the gloaming of two hazels, trunks entwined. Grasses stir, as if the badger snuffles still for worms and lacquer-back beetles, its imaginary breath a limbo of life and release, faltering the way you falter at an unfamiliar junction, over which of three paths to follow, hazy as to where each leads. A red kite keens, lures you down a chalky trail, across dust-stubbled fields, the way beyond shadowed by capricious clouds, and a grassy curve, enchanting as a sleeping child's smile.
Warwickshire. Warwick is an old county. Warwick is a historical county. Warwickshire is a proud county. Warwick, the county town of Warwickshire, has a strong, important castle, where powerful political people have sat. Down the centuries, the Earl of Warwick has held a tight grip on the direction and destination of the Crown of England. Richard Neville, the 8th Earl of Warwick, is known historically as the Kingmaker. The market town of Stratford-upon-Avon sits within the county of Warwickshire. This small town is renowned today for being the birthplace of the greatest playwright England has produced. William Shakespeare, during the reign of Elizabeth I, changed the way the world saw English literature forever. The greatest bard to ever live was a Warwickshire bard. Now I, another Warwickshire bard, pay my homage to him in my meagre fashion, acknowledging his literal passion. Time has passed, history has elapsed. The battles that took place on battlefields now take place on cricket pitches and playing fields. However, the rivalry is no less fierce or hard fought, and Warwickshire still sees itself as a fierce force.
I'm Howarth Hodgkinson, and this is Westmoreland. Famed amongst motorway service stations, it's run by a farming family and serves food cooked freshly from locally produced ingredients. I stopped by on my way back north. The farm shop had all the latest authentic artisan lifestyle choices, knitwear, skincare, home furnishings. The bookshelf had dozens of on-trend, celebrity-endorsed vegan cookbooks. Every basic or advanced recipe you could need for a truly wholesome plant-based diet. I tried the restaurant for a vegan lunch. There was vegetable pasta bake, but they couldn't do it without the cheesy topping. How about fish and chips, they suggested. I drove on, up the motorway, to the next service station, where every corporate fast food chain store had its vegan option, clinically sealed in plastic shrink wrap.
Time closes brocade curtains and I'm way behind, dreaming of a white horse, galloping stars, milk streaking from a thundering sky. Blue lights in a smoking dawn, riders on the ridgeway, nameless shades through pulsing veins, time-torn track lines and rivers rising to meet the clouds. A warning day breaks in a shroud of exhaled smoke. Mesolithic, Neolithic, mud cakes the memories of sleeping gods who were once like you or me, staking their claims to chaos, mapping a route from need to myth, or at least to a tale told by a fire-voiced fabulist in the back of his stripped-out bus. And I dream of a song in a heart of stone, gold in the eye of a circle of hands, where the white horse stands, scratched into the skyline, calling to its dozen brothers, stamping at the edge of remembrance. And I dream of a tide of sticks and stones, shield walls on the Roman road, and the keening of chalked up figures stumbling through noise and dust. A breath away, a spire is the spindle of the world, a rough ridge the spine of time, flexing and stretching through dreaming hills. And in a lay-by just west of the centre of the galaxy, a white horse pulls history in a gleaming cart, and wireless signals sing like extinct birds.
Did my soul fly to when you whispered your kiss to mine? Gossamer starred skies shone behind my eyes while I tasted your touch. Gentle as autumn leaves silking through my skin, feeling your words calling my name until my heart can breathe no more. Melting into one, time pausing, slowing, colours kaleidoscopic through my veins, possessing, pulsing, holding the wings of my core until the fragile me of me flies free.
Feared him, wanted their eternal souls to live, to survive in glory in heaven. And as was believed in those days, they thought that they could buy salvation. They could have founded an orphanage, a poorhouse, helped the starving, nursed the sick. But they wanted to show their wealth and buy their way to glory. They planned together to build a great church, a temple to God and Christ and to the Blessed Virgin Mother. They must save their immortal soul. Then discord struck, and Sarah demanded a spire, whilst Emily insisted on a tower. For their church, they both wanted their own vision for the glory of God, they said, and not to sate their pride. Neither would give way, and no truce was made, because of that pride and intransigence. What happened next secured their place in local history for eternity, as they each built an extravagant church to their own specifications, to the glory of God, and to save their selfish souls. No help or succour from them for those in need. They passed away as mortals do, and they are remembered still in Holderness and Withensea, where they are now commemorated in a plaque telling the story of so many centuries ago. And their churches now disappeared into oblivion, and leaving no trace, being engulfed by the raging sea. So their eternal souls, what of them? Who knows? Maybe, just maybe, they were forgiven for their pride and wastefulness. But then, maybe not.